Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Tom Johnson begins now.
Good evening. Tributes are pouring in for a North West father murdered in a triple shooting in Devonport yesterday. Chris Walter's heartbroken family describing the 32-year-old as a man who always put others before himself. The identity of his killer has also been revealed as the investigation shifts direction.
A baby girl robbed of her father and a father robbed of his life. Chris Walters, described by family and friends,
just friendly, as like everyone knew him as a friendly bloke.
He was like a brother to cousin Mark, who remembers him as someone who would have done anything for anyone.
He was a really, really good person to get to know. He was a good uncle.
The 32-year-old killed in a triple shooting in Devonport in the early hours of yesterday morning. The man who pulled the trigger identified as 35-year-old Paul Carey. His recent Facebook update was captioned, "I love this woman, you mean the world to me." The same woman he yesterday shot in this William Street home before turning the gun on himself.
There's certainly indications of jealousy that may be involved in this.
Authorities say an unregistered 70s Winchester shotgun was used and Carey did not have a firearms licence. How Paul Carey was able to acquire the shotgun used in the murder-suicide is now the focus of the investigation. Police believe he purchased the weapon in the last 3 months and they want to know who sold it to him.
We want that person to come forward without fear of prosecution.
The 38-year-old woman who survived the gunfire remains in a stable condition at the Launceston General Hospital. She's expected to give a statement to police in the coming days, along with her 10-year-old son, who also witnessed the horrific violence.
His grandmother said that he's okay, but again, this is 36 hours in.
Forensic officers have finished gathering evidence at the crime scene and the road has been reopened to traffic. But for the heartbroken family of a late loved one, life will never be the same again.
It's going to take a while to get it out of our minds.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
The state government is hoping to make it easier for Tasmanians to access e-scooters in time for summer. Legislation making it legal to ride them on footpaths and a number of local roads is set to be brought before Parliament this week. The Leader of the House says TasTAFE reforms will also be on the agenda.
The government's flawed approach to TAFE, seeking to change the governance approach there, which we don't support.
It's a vital piece of legislation to bring TasTAFE into the modern era, to give it a business-like approach so it can meet the needs of its users.
Meanwhile, the government's controversial gaming legislation is expected to be considered by the upper house. 2 separate bushwalkers have been rescued by the Westpac helicopter at Cradle Mountain. Police were notified of a lost walker at 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Hours later, they received reports of a separate medical emergency. Search and rescue teams retrieved both walkers early this morning. They've been transported to the Launceston General Hospital with minor injuries. Traffic was brought to a crawl at a busy Hobart intersection this afternoon following a car crash. Emergency services were called to the railway roundabout on Brooker Avenue just after 1 p.m. Paramedics attended the scene, but no injuries were reported. Dozens of Tasmanians have banded together to help fund research and give cancer patients hope. The Walk for Brain Cancer returning after being forced online during the COVID pandemic last year, raising thousands of dollars in the process.
A group of individuals united by the experiences they've witnessed. The Walk for Brain Cancer returning after a 2-year hiatus. Adults, children and even the odd family pet taking part, before enjoying some lunch afterwards. Senator CATRYNA BILYK, who survived battles with the disease, once again leading the event, helping support the Cure for Brain Cancer Foundation's research.
No, most of them I know, to be honest, here today, but some of the new people I've met today, some people come and go from the walk.
Since 2014, the walks have raised more than $200,000, with more coming this year.
Certainly the fundraising target's been well and truly met, and that's the main thing.
Everyone taking part having a different story.
We both work or have worked in neurosurgery on the Royal, so we both see it a fair bit.
Others doing it in memory of someone close to them.
5 or 6 years ago, we lost our dad to cancer. So he had a 3-year battle.
While a few have fought brain cancer off.
I was diagnosed in 2015. I had a seizure, and then I had 2 surgeries, one to remove the tumour and then another one to remove the infection.
The senator says 5-year survival rates remain stubbornly low at just 22%. For children, the prognosis is far worse.
Brain cancer kills more children in Australia than any other disease, and most children that have brain cancer are terminal.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
They say a picture paints 1,000 words, and that's certainly the case when it comes to this photography exhibition. Point and Shoot showcases photography taken by or featuring Tasmanian veterans. The exhibition's organiser says the photos show some of the moments those who serve our community thought were worth remembering.
It's also been a bit emotional for a few people as well. We've found a few people a little bit confronted by some of the images, but in a healthy way. I think it's really good to talk about.
Organisers hope the initiative will continue to grow, aiming to create a national exhibition next year. A Tasmanian woman has spoken out about overcoming her struggles with postnatal depression. Rebecca CALLAN is now encouraging other parents to reach out for help this perinatal mental health week as calls to the national helpline skyrocket.
A sweet, bubbly boy who loves being outdoors. William is the light of Rachel CALLAN's life, but becoming a parent brought with it significant challenges.
We have certain expectations about being a parent. Our social media definitely shows the highlights reel about what being a parent is.
Rachel struggled to find the happiness she thought she should be feeling, instead faced with crippling anxiety.
The baby blues a few days after having William turned into something more serious. I felt like there was a storm cloud over me at all times.
Reaching out to her GP and Perinatal Anxiety and Depression Australia for help.
That call allowed me to get some emotions out, talk to somebody who helped me realise that it's actually really common for parents to go through postnatal depression and anxiety.
Over the past year, COVID has had a major impact on the mental health of families welcoming babies into the world.
We've received 51% more callers than we had the 12 months previously.
Perinatal Mental Health Week starting today, PANDA says the data shows positive progress, with fewer people trying to manage alone.
And we're just so proud of the number of people that are reaching out for help and putting themselves first.
Hoping to encourage even more parents like Rachel access support. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
A top-order collapse has put the Hobart Hurricanes in a difficult position against the Perth Scorchers in this afternoon's WBBL clash at the Wacker. The Hurricanes finished all out for 96. Perth is at 1 for 31. It comes after a superb bowling performance at the Death helped them record an upset win over the same opponent last night.
Batting first again, the Hurricanes were looking for a similar opening stand to yesterday. The Scorchers, however, had other ideas.
Straight through, Rachel Priest.
The captain gone for one after Marzian Cap skittled her. She also claimed Naomi Stalenberg 2 balls later.
Swinging away, off the edge, Stalenberg is gone.
Cap having a day out, trapping Carey for just 5. And when Rishagosh departed for a duck, it was suddenly 4 for 10.
And bowled. The perfect delivery.
Strano followed a short time later, Cap getting her 4th wicket. Even the in-form Mignon de Prier had a short stay at the wicket. The Canes with work to do to salvage a win. It was a far cry from last night, where they pulled off a thrilling win against the same opponents. Rachel Priest making 54, with the side posting 8 for 137 from their 20 overs. In reply, the Hurricanes removed Beth Mooney and the dangerous Sophie Devine early on. Needing 41 from just 36 balls, the Scorchers appeared on track until the Hurricanes bowling unit stepped in.
And have they got the wicket of Graham? It's a big shout and it's given. Straight across the line, that is a big shout and is given.
Perth spectacularly collapsing, losing 4 for 24 between the 15th and the 19th over. Needing 6 off the final ball, they couldn't get it, the Hurricanes producing a famous win. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening. Launceston was today's top temperature for the state at 21 degrees, a high of 19 in Burnie and Devonport and 15 for Hobart. A top of 18 in Low Head, 17 degrees in Friendly Beaches, Flinders Island and Grove both 16 degrees, 15 for Strawn, 14 in King Island, and Lyweenie reached a high of 13 degrees. There was some low-level cloud about the east and northeast of the state, while the rest of the country was remarkably cloudy, with a mass of middle and high-level cloud Australia-wide and storms over the northern half of the country. Tomorrow, a weakening cold front is approaching Tasmania as the ridge shifts over the Bass Strait, and a complex trough remains over New South Wales, Queensland, the Northern Territory and Western Australia. Looking at the coastal waters, winds will reach up to 20 knots in the north, west and south, and the swell will build up to 4 metres in south and western waters in the late afternoon. To tomorrow's forecast, Hobart will be 18 and partly cloudy, a possible late shower in Dover and cloudy in Ouse, partly cloudy and 20 degrees for Launceston and similar conditions for Devonport and Scottsdale. 18 and partly cloudy in Burnie, a shower or 2 and 16 for Strawn, and Stanley a cloudy 17 degrees. And a top of 19 in St Helens, with partly cloudy conditions expected in Swansea and Ross. Tomorrow the sun will rise at 5:49 a.m. and the UV is forecast to be high for most of the state. Now to the 3-day forecast. Tuesday will see scattered showers developing with afternoon sea breezes in the east. A wet day ahead on Wednesday with showers predicted statewide. And Thursday will see showers about the west and south with fine conditions elsewhere until showers develop inland in the evening. For the rest of Australia, tomorrow will be cloudy in Melbourne with a top of 17 degrees, 25 with a shower or 2 in Sydney, and showers and possible storms on the way for Brisbane, reaching a high of 28 degrees. And it is currently 13 degrees in Hobart and cloudy there, 16 in Launceston and 14 in Devonport. That's all in weather. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you, Tiani, and thank you for joining us tonight on 7 Tasmania. Kim returns tomorrow. For now, good night.